Hello, beautiful being. Welcome to In Her Dreams. I'm in my PJs because I just didn't feel like getting dressed up tonight. So, yeah, after this, I'm going to bed. But anyway, it is Scorpio season when I'm recording this, and I love Scorpio season. I love Scorpio energy. I don't have a lot of Scorpio placements in my chart, my natal chart, but I do have Lilith in Scorpio, and I love that. So, I love working with the energy of death and transformation. Rebirth is something that empowers us all because it allows us to take what did not seem to serve us or what it was time to let go of and create something new. So at this time of the year, the veil is thin. And that's the veil that separates the physical from the spiritual realms. So you might notice that you observe more spiritual activity. I know I certainly do around this time of year. Spirits come into my home a lot more often at this time of year. And so I just wanted to share with you the way that I work with spirits when they come to me, because it can be frightening if it's something that you haven't yet opened up to. Maybe you're curious about it and you would like to, but it's a little like frightening, or, I just like to kind of dispel fear around spirituality because it's so popular in Hollywood to see spirituality as something that is fearful or scary, but it's a part of us. We are spirits, just like we're physical beings. So I think the less that we fear working with the spiritual realm, the less we fear ourselves, because it's a part of us. It's a part of who we are. So if there's anything you want to add to what I share, feel free to drop it in the comments. But I'm going to share with you how I work with spirits when they come into my home. So the first thing is that I always make sure that there is protection in my home. I invoke energetic protection every single day, and it's a part of my daily ritual to do that. There are certain things that are still able to interact with me, but even if it's of a low frequency, I have power over it. And that's something that's really important to realize, is that any spirit that comes to you, you have power over it. Okay? So when a spirit comes to you, you'll either want to welcome it and communicate with it, or you'll want to rebuke it. And you have the power to do either one. And I find that the most important thing is to just, when you realize that an energy is with you, see what you feel. Like, how does it feel to you? Does it make you anxious? Does it make you kind of tense up a little bit? Is that your initial reaction to that spirit? Because in that case, it's something low vibe, and it may be something that someone sent to you in order to come with some sort of like threatening energy. Okay? If that is the case, and usually that would happen if you are experiencing spiritual warfare, okay? You might hear something thumping or knocking around, because what that feels like to me is violence. So if there's somebody who is working with energy and they want to send a threatening vibe to you, then they might come through like that, like making a knocking noise or something like that. So what I do in that case is I rebuke the energy. If it doesn't feel right to me, I rebuke it immediately, and I tell it that it must go. I might rebuke it with the power of Christ or Archangel Michael, also my ancestors, the divine, my spirit allies. Any spirit that comes to me to work against that energy, I'll call on the name of that spirit, and they go. Like, that's really important to realize, is that you do have power in the spirit realm. And anything that you rebuke, it has to leave. It cannot stay. So you'll notice that it goes away once you rebuke it. Okay? I actually find the spirit realm to be a lot more gentle than the physical realm, because think about it, like you have like big bouncers and stuff to and big security guards with guns and things, and like you don't need a gun in the spirit realm. You don't need to be really big and muscular in the spirit realm. You can just use the power inside you to rebuke a spirit or an energy that rubs you the wrong way. So that usually doesn't happen, but I have noticed that that has happened from time to time if I'm under spiritual attack and there's somebody in the physical realm that I know is trying to do things not only in the spirit realm but in the physical realm, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, you're sending this, okay, I rebuke you. You know, it's kind of like you gotta go. Now, usually what I experience is very positive energies that come to me, and I've only noticed violent energies coming in like a knocking noise that I just spoke about. But usually the way that like benevolent entities come to me is I'll see them. If I'm already in a meditative state, then they'll just sort of appear to me and I'm able to see them. And they usually don't say anything. They're silent once they come in, and they wait for me to communicate with them. So in that case, it's always like a positive vibe. Like what I'm talking about now is where it just feels peaceful. It just feels like a friend that came to sit with me. You know what I mean? So in that case, there's no indication of something that needs to be rebuked or sent away. And the first thing that I do when I observe that a spirit has come to me is I'll start to converse with it, like literally, like as if it were a person, because they will speak to you. Okay. That's when they appear to me. The other way that spirits will come to me sometimes is through my clairaudience. So they will start to speak to me in the spirit realm. And over the years, my clairaudience has gotten stronger. It used to sound like very faint, but now it really does sound like somebody is talking to me in my ear. Like it has blended more with the physical over the years. So your clairsentience, clairaudience, claircognizance, all of that will get stronger and stronger the more you tune into it. So as long as it's a spirit that feels benevolent and does not come in with any kind of drama, I'll just ask it. The first thing I do is I say, "Hi, who are you?" And they'll always give me their name. Sometimes they'll tell me what dimension they're from. They usually don't offer a lot of information up front, but I just want to know their name so that I can identify them. And then the next thing that I ask them is, what is it that you came to share with me? Because the thing about spirits is they always have a purpose. They always want something. They might want to give you a warning. They might want to teach you something. They might want to give you a message of encouragement, or a lot of times spirits will come to me for confirmation, just to let me know that I am on my correct path. And so once they give me the message that they have for me, if I'm curious, I'll ask more questions. I'll ask them like, more things about the spirit realm, so I can kind of, they can drop some gems, hopefully. And sometimes the spirits will dismiss themselves. A lot of times they'll come like with a very intentional purpose, like it's a very specific purpose. And once they've gotten that message out, I was open to receive it, and they'll kind of be like, okay, and they'll drift on. They'll go back to where they came from. And then sometimes I'll just say, well, thank you so much. It's kind of like being on the phone with somebody, and you can kind of feel when the conversation is over. It just kind of ends naturally. So they'll just kind of, we'll say our goodbyes, and I always thank them. That's the thing. Because I'm like, you are a spirit from another dimension. You came to talk to me. It's the most wonderful feeling. It really is, because it's like you weren't expecting it. It's not like you were asking for someone to come visit you. It's just that spirit knew that based on whatever it is that you're doing right now, you were ready to have this experience. So something I advise you to do if you are working on your clairs, your clairsentience, claircognizance, clairaudience, all of that stuff, I suggest keeping a journal. You can keep a digital journal. They have apps there. You can just it's speech to text. So it's real easy to document your spiritual experiences, your astral experiences, or you can of course write it down if you like that. But it's really good to at least write down a couple of these every once in a while, because it confirms for you your connection to spirit as you are building your confidence in using your spiritual gifts. And so it's great to be able to come back to that journal or the app and review what you've experienced, just to kind of reassure yourself, yes, spirit is real. In those moments where you might be doubting your path, it's just nice to have that. I don't do that anymore, but early on, when I really set out on my journey to strengthen my clairs, I kept an app, or it was Lucidity. It's a dream journal. And so my dreams and my astral experiences, I always documented them. And so I would come back and look through them. And a lot of times I would be like, oh my God, I totally forgot about that. And it's really amazing, because some of the stuff you'll experience, if you're relatively new to opening up to spirit in this way, some of the things you'll experience are mind blowing. And it doesn't feel like that in that moment. But then when you settle back into 3D realm and you're like all grounded and everything, and you read the stuff that you've experienced on the astral, it's like, whoa, crazy. So that's just something I recommend if you're strengthening your spiritual gifts. So just to wrap it up, when a spirit comes to me, whether I notice it appearing to me, or I hear it in my ear, or I hear it somewhere in my home, or maybe the lights flicker or something like that, I always pay attention first and foremost to how it makes me feel. If it makes me feel uncomfortable and uneasy, which I would say is it's only been 2% of the time. Okay. And I was under spiritual attack at the time, so it made sense, right? And I rebuke it. If it is a positive vibration that I get from that spirit experience, from that visitation, then I just converse with it. I ask it who it is and what they've come to teach me or share with me. And I thank them. And that's about it. So I hope that this was helpful to you. If you speak with spirits or work with spirits that come to visit you, please feel free to share in the comments. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. I know that this stuff is kind of out there for some people, but if this is something you were looking for, I wanted to make sure that this video found you, because I want you to feel at home with your spiritual gifts, because it's a blessing. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you, and I wish you peace, joy, and so many blessings. Take care.